Goremet Cinema Gang, it's a film community first and foremost, but it's a screening community for cult horror and exploitation cinema. And it's I'm my name is Gregory, and I'm the lead curator of the group, and my wife Jan helps me a lot, and I have a partner Marco helps me with the curation, and then of course that means also putting on the screenings. So they also help with whether we're doing a raffle or just helping with customer service or writing the intros. And so the main goal of the whole thing is to actually make it a community. So it's not just me curating all the films with my partners. It'll become, or at least my vision for it is to become, where we have rotating individuals that come in as people that help with not only with the financial burden of licensing films, but also coming in, do their own intros and talk about the films. And then help build that community. So it's not only just us who are presenting those films; it's the people who are also coming to those films. So that's what my ultimate goal is, to have that community of people who love genre films. They come out and support it. It's two different, two different ways that we kind of went about that. One is I have a longer relationship with Oddwood because one of their owners, I used to work with his partner at Book People, where I work, and I had made a short film that she helped produce, and I was looking for a place to do the cast and crew screening, and we did a little Q&A, and I was trying to find a place, and I didn't really know anything about Oddwood, and we went there and we did it, and they have a screen built in. They do a lot of events. They do their own movie nights, but they do sporting events and so many things there, and they were very kind and welcoming and let me do it there. And then when I started doing this, I immediately reached out to them and see if they were looking for someone who would like to do something like this, and they immediately said yes. Even though I think by that time most of the people I knew there had kind of turned over, and they're incredibly welcoming. They like no questions asked. Basically, we sat down and they just said, "Yeah, let's do it." And so they're really great, and they're still really great with us, like letting us have that space to screen and everything. But then when East Side Cinema opened up, beginning of this year, maybe at the tail end of last year, they just put a call out for people who were looking for groups that want to screen there, any partners. And so I just hit up Josh, the guy who runs it, who also runs Blue Starlight Drive-In, and he was like, "Yeah, we got space, let's do it." And so it's been kind of cool working in that space, because the Millennium is a rec center and it's got all kinds of different things going on there for families and activities. But we're also showing these sometimes gory or sexually explicit films in this family center, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, it's a great experience for me. Yeah, so I mean, I think right now we're still in the infancy of Goremet Cinema Gang, but I'm a huge cinema fan of all types of movies, and so I love genre films a lot. And so we haven't really branched this far out, but I have two films that I would love to talk about. Is one is The Crimson Kimono, which is a Samuel Fuller film. I consider film noir to be one of the great genres that we'd love to spend more time screening. But it's a great film because it starts off as a noir detective story in Little Tokyo, I think it's in San Francisco, and it's like a murder, and there's two cops. One is Japanese American, the other guy is white, and they serve in Korea together, and they have to basically babysit this witness in their house together. We're best friends. They live together, and she falls in love with the Japanese American guy, and it's the first American film to have an interracial kiss in the movie. Something like 59, I think. But I love the idea of taking a genre film and then you start off in a certain way and then you spin out and just talking about something. And so the film starts to really talk about there's a racial divide between these guys who are best friends. Of course, it does come back around and does fulfill its genre needs of solving a murder and having great action in it. That's the kind of stuff that I really deep down love about genre films, when you can spin off and do something like that. But another film I want to talk about is The Star of David, which is filmed by Norifumi Suzuki. It's one of the inky violence movies. But that movie had a profound effect on me. It's not an easy film to watch. It's about a guy who he's the product himself of a sexual assault, and so he grows up not knowing who his true father is, and so he's the product of violence. But this is in the '70s in Japan, and he becomes obsessed with like Hitler and the Emperor and all the fascism in World War II, and he starts kidnapping and torturing women. And it looks like a almost like a Mario Bava film, where it's like they're in his dungeon and he's torturing women. And it's not an easy film to watch, but the movie really gets to the heart of like, did Japan deserve what it got for what they did during the war or previous to the war? And so it's like this, torture porn, sexploitation movie, but it's got a lot on its mind talking about this country that's still reeling from what they did and what was done to them. And so that's what I find most fascinating about genre movies, and that they can do these weird, wild things because no one's really looking, right? Like when we're doing these crazy kind of movies, they're like, those are over there. But we can talk about some really weird and tough things. So, yeah, those are two films I would highly recommend. Uh, I love physical media. I have a whole room full of them, and I'm constantly looking for something new and something cool, or a good addition of something. So I think some of the things that I would really recommend. Um, I think I think Criterion Collection is my go-to. I remember going to all the Barnes and Nobles when I was young. This was the only boutique we were for a long time. You had to go and kind of track stuff down, but they've always done great stuff. So any Kurosawa on Blu-ray, I recommend that they've done, and I'm looking forward to the 4K Seven Samurai. We're finally up to get. But some of my favorite sets have been like the Tiger Cage set that 88 Films put out. I think 88 Films is one of the best like box set kind of companies. So that Tiger Cage set was amazing. I bought that blind. I hadn't seen any of them. It was amazing. Amazing trip through them. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at Tiger Cage right now. It's a good one. If you haven't seen Tiger Cage, I think you have. But go see it. Oh, it depends on where I am watching a movie. I am a big traditionalist when it comes to cinema. So I like if I'm, here in Austin, we have a wealth of places to go watch movies. And so if I'm in some place like the Paramount, which I think is the best cinema house in town, it's popcorn all the way. It's just that traditional feel. You're in the cinema. You're not in a luxury chair. You're sitting down. It's still got the wooden cup holders. No, they didn't have cup holders. Put the wooden armrests, but if I'm somewhere else that offers a bigger menu, then I do go for it. Or, if I'm out on a date night with my wife, we'll go have food, and then we'll go. But yeah, I guess when it comes to watching a movie, I do like popcorn over getting something else. Oh, so many of them, right? Right now, I think some of my favorites, the up and comers like Error 4444 is really great. They put out Fatal Termination, excuse me, which is a great find. Radiance, I love. They do a lot of great Japanese and Italian films that I find interesting. They put out that Into Civilization box set, which is like Polish films. It's really great. But I don't know, Eureka. There's so many good ones out there right now. I know. I feel like we're there was a long time when all you could find was DVDs, right? And now we're living in that great era of releases. So just so much history. As a curator for movies, I like to always hear from people like what they're looking for. What is it that you feel like you're missing in screenings around town in Austin? So, but also, what what would people be looking? Anyone watching this or yourself? What would you want out of a community like that screens this kind of film? Because I think getting to the heart of what we're trying to do is like take what these Blu-ray boutique people are doing, spotlighting these kinds of films, but doing that in a theatrical kind of way. And so, if you or anyone else watching, like, hit me up and let me know, like, this is what I don't feel like our community is doing for us. Like, we will not screen these kinds of films, or what's lacking, or what's lacking in the things that we're providing. So, like, where would you what would you like to see in these kinds of films? And so yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking for because that's for me. I felt like that was a big thing lacking for me wanting to go out and show these kinds of films. And so I'm always looking to hear what other folks want to see in theaters.